What's up, guys? My name is Tyler Antiknap, and we're back with our virtual track walk presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires for round 16 of the Monster Energy Supercross presented by Fly Racing. Brock, what's up? We can see the track is muddy. What do you think?
Well, we had some weather here, no question about it. It's a little unseasonably cool here in Salt Lake City for this penultimate round of this Monster Energy Supercross series. And last night we probably got a quarter to a half of inch of rain, and it kind of went into the morning hours. And then now it's clear, and they don't expect any more rain for the rest of the day. So I actually expect the track to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, right now we can see some standing water on the track. We had a little bit of a rainstorm last night, which was kind of unexpected, but we are in Salt Lake City, so there's definitely some, mountain weather going on here. And I have no doubt that it's going to be a beautiful racetrack come, end of qualifying and into the races. And, we have this long start straight again into this big sweeper. We've seen it kind of play a factor last weekend with how smooth Roxon was and the flat corners and everything, and then kind of Eli Tomac was kind of having a tough time finessing.
Well, there's no question that last week's track, and it's going to be a lot this week as we come to that big, wide, sweeping corner again for the start, that it's going to be very critical to be smooth on the throttle. Ken Roxon is known as a finesser and someone who's easy on his bike, easy on the clutch, and easy, doesn't grab a big handful all the time. And he was able to pull off the win last week with his stereotypical riding style that we've all seen. And, with what happened to Eli Tomac, poor start, kind of started making his way up, actually closed the gap a little bit on the two leaders, and then just settled into that third place position, kind of knowing that you can only take what the track could give you, and you only take what you got with the start. So, but, it was fun watching the races last week, had some exciting races. And it's this first turn we saw last week, a lot of wheel tapping here, kind of lifting the front wheel, getting over this one right here, and then popping this section right, coming up this little rhythm section here.
Yeah, no. So this rhythm section and the next rhythm section are going to be actually the exact same as last weekend, but the only difference is a few more sweeping corners. Like we seen the first, start straight corner. That's going to be a corner that they're going to be hitting every single lap. So they're going to be carrying a lot more momentum into this rhythm section. We'll see if that kind of opens up this rhythm with a triple in the beginning, maybe a little bit more speed. They can go a little bit farther and kind of get through this section a little bit quicker. But, the East Coast guys are back this weekend, and we have a really tight points race between Chase Sexton and Shane McElrath. And I'm really interested to see if Shane can, do what he does and get that whole shot and lead some laps and win this main event tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if that happens. And then, of course, we're all looking forward to Sunday's round 2, where it's the shootout. And then you're going to be mixing in the West Coast boys and the East Coast. So a lot bigger chance for point spreads to change up, mix up, and earn a lot more or lose a lot more on your competitors.
Yeah, no, a past champion like yourself, how does Eli Tomac come into this round, 26 points, ahead, or it's like around like 25, but, he could wrap up the championship tonight. Do you think he's focused on that, or do you think he just kind of is going to ride safe and kind of a little bit more conservative?
Well, last week, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I think he settled in and kind of just realized it would be very difficult to make the move and to try to catch the leaders. I mean, Ken Roxon was riding so well, as was Cooper Webb. I think he realized the risk wasn't worth the chance of failure, more or less, than the reward there. But I think at this race right now, I know I've been in this position before and being able to wrap up championships before the final race. I like to go out and run hard, playing conservative, that defense, I guess that prevent defense prevents you from winning kind of a deal. I think riding real conservatively is not the way to go here. I think he just needs to try to get the best start he can in the main event and try to go for the win, wrap this thing up, and get the series over with. Now, if it doesn't happen, he gets a poor start, then obviously he has to just go into the mode of I'm just going to click off these 20 minutes plus one lap and just get what I can get, and then just make sure I finish where I need to at the last round.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's got a good points cushion right now, and you know, Eli Tomac is definitely, I've never seen him let up too much. You know, I definitely felt like he rode a little timid last weekend just because, you know, we didn't see that, you know, bulldog riding personality. But, you know, with this track and how it is laying out right now, there's a lot of, you know, standing water in between the rhythm sections, in between the transitions. And, you know, it looking like right now we're at the, you know, whoop section right now going through this. We got another long, you know, exact same whoop section we had last week. We'll see definitely how these things break down. Last week, they didn't break down too much. They definitely got slippery and hard packed, but I'm looking for this whoop section to kind of break down a little bit more, you know, today and look a little bit more East Coast-ish, you know, compared to that hard packed dirt that we've seen, you know, in the previous rounds.
Well, as you mentioned, the water, everybody can see the water standing in between these jumps. You know, the good news for the track crew is that it's an arid environment. The humidity's low. Even though we have rain, the humidity levels immediately go back into the low ranges of, you know, maybe 20-30% up here in this. It's more of, as we talked about, an alpine mountain environment. So, yeah, I do expect the track, by the time they get done with all the practice sessions, qualifying sessions, and then, you know, especially into the first heats, I think the track by the main event will be fine. It probably will end up a little bit hard packed in sections, but again, coming through this Cooper tire corner here, we see the tarps were on the track in these areas here. They'll have to be careful pulling it off because we got standing water on top of the tarps. But this is another one of those big wide sweeping corners where last race it actually had the Dragons back in it. But it's exciting. It's fun for me to see these flat corners, and the riders just have a little, it's just not that usual rut berm 180 back and forth. It's some throttle controls we've seen in the past.
Yeah, no, we've definitely seen a lot of aggressive passes, a lot of just passes in general in those flat corners. You know, we've seen Kenny pass for the lead for Cooper. We've seen Jet Lawrence, you know, go for the takeout on Austin Forkner right before the finish line last week. And, you know, the flat corners definitely open up the track, I think, in multiple lines and multiple passing opportunities. And we're coming up on our standard 65-foot fly racing triple right here. We had a bull corner into this section last weekend. This is probably one of the biggest changes from this week is it's going to be a triple into 4 rollers into the bull corner, and then we're hitting the finish line.
Yeah, when we came out of that corner, that was a nice flat corner. We talked about that Cooper Tires corner there, and into a big triple. So you're going to see people side by side, hopefully coming out of there, trying to make sure to get on the gas and use throttle control, maybe some scrubbing off the triple, hopefully some side-by-side passing, getting ready to come down into the finish line.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's definitely a barbing action. I got to give it up to Benny Bloss for winning his first heat race ever in Heat 1, and then also my brother making the main. That was pretty phenomenal last weekend for Benny Bloss and the whole Rocky Mountain ATV KTM racing team. That was a big feat in itself, and hopefully they can, you know, put it back up on the box, and we can see Blake Baggett up there too. And, you know, we're coming in this finish, another standing water puddle right here. And, you know, we're doing the finish, and that was a lap at round 16 of the Salt Lake City, Utah race as Monster Energy Supercross. We only got one more round until the final one, so make sure you guys stay tuned. That was your virtual track walk presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires.